This next story also to celebrate Juneteenth, but also to understand that even after slaves were officially freed, racism carried on full throttle. Friday night in Manhattan, for the first time, the performance of a big and classical orchestra piece written by a composer who was black. Decades ago, the piece was pulled from the radio during the performance. Why? Because of the color of the composer's skin. It will not be pulled again. Here's Jim Dolan.
Rehearsal for tomorrow's performance of The Ordering of Moses at Riverside Church in Harlem was running a little late tonight. 85 years late. The sweeping and dramatic classical music piece was first performed in 1937 in what was supposed to be the historic first national radio broadcast ever of a new classical work by an African-American composer, R. Nathaniel Dent. But as the broadcast on the old NBC radio network began, it seems that much of America just would not abide such an achievement from a black man.
About 3/4 of the way through, it was just abruptly cut. And there's no record of the reason why.
The theory, though, is that as the soaring and poignant story played on the radio, the network was getting angry phone calls because the composer was African American. So the broadcast was stopped. The oratorio, bold and moving, tells the story of the emancipation of African Americans through an Old Testament lens, all told by the grandson of escaped American slaves.
I believe Nathaniel Dent and my ancestors that have come before me have set a precedent, and they have also passed the baton. So I'm fulfilling my calling and my duty to take the baton and to complete what they started and then to pass it to the next generation.
I personally, as a black man, feel and identify with the children of Israel as they go across the sea and escape bondage into the land of the Promised Land.
The story of the ordering of Moses is part of American history, the grandson of slaves who escaped to a better life but still knew oppression. It's a pretty good reason to come and see tomorrow's performance here at Riverside Church. But there's another reason. It's really good.
They will absolutely hear some of the most phenomenal singers and musicians on this side of the Milky Way galaxy.
Tomorrow's performance is part of Harlem's Juneteenth celebration.